Good day and welcome to our Inspiring Television program. I am your host, Precious Anyebe. Today we are looking at a very sensitive but important issue in Nigeria, the relationship between religious politics, leadership, and national unity. Recent comment attributed to Sheikh Sani Yahaya Jingir concerning Christians as well as his positions on the Muslim ticket have generated serious reactions across the country. At a time when Nigeria is already facing challenges of insecurity, ethnic tensions, religious mistrust, and political diversions, the question is, what responsibility do religious and political leaders have in promoting peace and unity? And also condemning such statement attributed to Sheikh Sani Yahaya Jingir. To help us examine these issues objectively, we have with us Professor Cornelius Afebo Omonoga, Professor of Dialogue and Conflict Management, Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Inter-Religion Council, NIRET, and General Secretary. The Secretary General of the West Africa Inter-Religious Council. Professor, you are most welcome to our Inspired Television program.
Thank you, Precious.
So thank you for joining us. So let's start with because I've gone on I've put more details on these issues on social medias, on TV, and otherwise, and I also know that you people put up a press release. So let's start with tell us what is NIRET. Let people know about, viewers know about NIRET and what is NIRET has to say concerning these controversial issues.
Well, my name is Reverend Father Professor Cornelius Afebo Omonoga.
Okay.
NIREC means Nigeria Interreligious Council.
Okay.
And NIREC started in 1999. Before this time, everything was attributed to religion. Every conflict was attributed to religion. For example, before 1999, you could hear, because of personal religious misunderstanding or personal misunderstanding, religious was weaponized and galvanized to burn churches, to burn mosques. So in 1998, Pope John Paul II visited Nigeria. And when he visited Nigeria for the second time, for the beatification of Father Cyprian Iwenetasi, he advised that there should be a council of Christians and Muslims. And I must say here, too, that I was also a consultor for the Commission for Religious Relations with Muslims in the Vatican, representing the whole of Africa. And I was the Director of Mission and Dialogue in the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria. And from this, I'm able to understand very clearly that in Nigeria, Nigeria is a very religious, we have religious people. That is why we could get all the Christians to come together under an association, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and we have all the Muslims coming together to form a council, Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. So eventually, it was easy for Nigeria to come together by bringing together the Christian Association of Nigeria and the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. And they come up with a constitution, and this constitution, the preamble is, we, the representatives of the two principal religions in Nigeria, Islam and Christianity, voluntarily decided by ourselves to come together to form an association on the 11th day of September 1999. So you could see that after this inauguration, now we are able to understand what is religious, what is ethnic, and what is personal. So it was easy for us to be able to work together to assist government to curb religious violence, to curb religious, hate speeches. So NIREC exists for, for the people. NIREC is a non-governmental organization, but our office is the Federal Secretariat of Nigeria.
Okay.
So then the question is why?
Okay.
The reason being that the government saw NIREC as being happy working for government, because the first NIREC meeting actually in 1999 was held in Sokoto during the time of Sultan Machido, and it was sponsored by General Olusegun Obasanjo when he was the head of state then. So what is NIREC? NIREC is guided by divine revelation and the dictate of God, the Creator. So that is why they are able to come up with this. So with this declaration, we have been able to work together to fight insurgency, to encourage the government to do the needful.
Okay. Okay, now thank you for giving us sharing light about what NIREC is all about. So now we are going to check Jingir's statement, Professor. So let's begin with the recent controversial utterances attributed to Sheikh Sani Yahaya Jingir concerning Christians and his strong positions on the continuations of the Muslim ticket. As a professor of dialogue and conflict management, what is your reaction to this statement, and what danger do such utterances pose to religious harmony and national unity?
Well, I would like to say I have a very good friend, very close friend. His name is Professor Khalid Aliyu Abubakar. He's the Secretary General of Jamaatul Nasri Islam, JNI. Each time we meet on television like this, he does not forget, or he never forget to tell us that we have in Nigeria accidental pastors and accidental imams. So here, I would like to go briefly to tell you that even in the Bible, we have categories of prophets. We have false prophets, we have professional prophets, and we have true prophets. The false prophets are these people who prophesy what God has not said, whereas the professional prophets are the ones who prophesy for the sake of their stomach. They want to say what the kings want to hear, what the king. Whereas the true prophets are those who are concerned with the people, the common good, the common welfare of the people, the integrity of the human person. You see, when God created us, He did not create us as Christians or as Muslims. He created us as human beings. So humanity is a core value. So very often, because of the misuse of religion, religion has become very volatile. And again, when you want to now say, is this how Muslims behave? Is this how Christians behave? In dogmatic theology, there is what we call opinativa, personal opinion. For example, what I am saying now, I'm here talking. Am I talking on behalf of the entire Catholic Church? Am I talking on behalf of the whole Christians? Am I talking on behalf of NIREC? Now, I'm sure you invited me here because I am the Executive Secretary of NIREC. But a lot of things I'm going to tell you here now, they are not official statements from NIREC, but these are my personal observations that I am giving to you. So coming back to the question of the statement made by Sheikh Sani Yahaya Jingir, he said in one of the publications concerning Muslim ticket, this is what the man said. He said, it was my personal opinion. Sheikh Jingir backtracks on Muslim ticket. Jibus, just chairman says, he said that is his personal opinion according to him, and he said that is not the opinion of Jibus. That is, he said that amid national criticism, and the chairman of the Council of Ulama of the Jamatu is Alati Bida Wakimati Suna. Just, but why I think the nation is agog with the statement is because that statement was made when a governor was there. Government officials were there, and they were thinking that it would be cautioned. That there are a lot of people who make a lot of statements like that, but this time around, a lot of people think that it should have been cautioned by the governor who was present with him.
Okay, is Nigeria truly a Muslim country? And there have been arguments suggesting that Nigeria should be regarded as a Muslim country because of the country's larger Muslim population. Professor, is Nigeria truly a Muslim country? So what does our constitution say about Nigerian religious identity, and where do Christians fit into this equation?
Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, explicitly states that the government of the federation or of a state shall not adopt any religion as a state religion. So the governance architecture of Nigeria is rooted in constitutional democracy, not theocracy. So Nigeria is a secular state, and no one can claim to, that Nigeria is either a Muslim country or a Christian country. When you see people making those statements, I call it weaponization of religion, trying to use religion to score a political point. I think that is the issue.
Okay. And the benefit of the Muslim ticket. Supporters of the Muslim ticket argue that the religion should not determine political leadership, and that the competence should be the major consideration. From your assessment, what has the Muslim ticket actually benefited the North and Nigeria as a whole, and has it strengthened or weakened national cohesions?
Well, see, there is this saying in my language, Udu Laregogena, the heart. Like now, when you look at philosophy, let me take you back to Socrates, take you back to the writings of Thomas Aquinas. First, they will tell you that when somebody is desperate for power, that person is not desperate for power for the common good and for the common welfare of the people. Some people who are desperate for power are desperate for power because they want their personal gain. They want, not just because they want money, but they want a situation when they can be like, do I call it deputy gods in parentheses. Then also when you go to the Bible, you discover that many true prophets, when you call them, they never accept immediately. They will tell you, I am not worthy. Because that I am not worthy creates a space in the heart of the person for God to work, to come in. So concerning, you see, Nigeria is a very powerful country. Nigeria ought to be a first world country with our natural resources, with our human resources. We have all that it takes. But the big problem is that we have human and natural resources that are badly managed. You can imagine if iron and steel in Alaja were working. You You can imagine if Ajaokuta Iron and Steel were working. You can imagine if our solid goods are properly managed, like in Zafara, for example. Let me use Zafara as a case study on this question. When Zafara adopted Sharia, one would have expected that after that, Zafara will be like heaven. Precious, if I ask you, is Zafara more peaceful than any other state in Nigeria? The question is no. The answer is no. So the question is, people are just using religion as a base. But does it really matter whether you are a Christian president or a Muslim president? This thing has to do with the content of character. That is why I keep calling for mental re-engineering and change of negative value to positive value. That is the problem. So I don't think even the Muslims, are they not also complaining? They are also complaining. Many of them are complaining. And I don't know why the Muslim ticket has become a nomenclature. Otherwise, it would have been, okay, we can do it. Let us do it together. But I don't think that it is either Muslim ticket or Christian ticket that Nigeria need at this point in time. Right now, what Nigeria needs are people with granitic substance, people with virtue, people that has mercy, compassion, love, that want the common good, who can take us back to the 70s, where a youth corper, before he finished NYSC, he already has in his hand the employment paper, letter to start work. We want a Nigeria where, there was people were friendly. Many Muslims went to Catholic schools, like my own school, Our Lady of Fatima. We contributed to the building of their mosque, even when we didn't have a church in our school. So I just think that this whole nomenclature of Muslim ticket is a weaponization. Okay, during the campaign for the 2023 election, we are Christians not campaigning. They're not in support of the present government. So that is where we know that what really mattered, or what matters, is not the religion, but the person, what the person can do and what the person can deliver.
Well, we need to speed up our conversations because the time is running fast. The reaction for political leaders, Professor, other issues that has concerned many personnel. So Nigeria is this controversial remarks were reportedly made. So what is your take on that?
Come again?
I said from these controversial issues where the leaders, the governor present at such events, Nigerians are calling for why didn't they say something concerning when this person makes such a controversial statement? So what is your take concerning such gathering which a leader we were part of it and nothing was done about it?
You see, there is no art to find a mask construction on the face. That is what Shakespeare told us. It's like a father where you are in the house, or a mother, your children are misbehaving. You ought to call them to order. But sometimes you may not want to call your children to order in public. You may want to do it privately or quietly. Whether the governor or whether some officials have called him quietly in private to talk to him, and they wouldn't want it to be a media talk, I don't know. But I know that ideally, he should have been called to order by the government.
Okay, thank you for your reaction to that. Okay, Northern Christians are persecution. Some Northern Christians have for years complained about discriminations, attacks, and persecution because of the threat. Do statements such as this reinforce the concern of Northern Christians that they are being persecuted because of their religion, or should we distinguish between the statement of an individual religious leader and the wider Muslim community?
Now, if we want to answer this particular question about persecution, Christian persecution, let us go back to the religious institutions. Because in the East, some Muslims also complain that the Muslims are called Amausa, that they are being marginalized. You get it now? So the big question now is, did the Christian Association of Nigeria have a closed-door meeting to say, let us go out and torment Muslims? Let us go out there and deprive Muslims of what legitimately belong to them. Now, on the other hand, the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, did they go into a quiet meeting to say, let us, as Muslims, persecute Christians? Let us make sure that they don't have what legitimately belong to them. Come again to weaponization of religion. These things are not happening. But again, the question is, who is supposed to give land for church building? Who's supposed to give land for mosque building? Who is supposed to empower social amenities? Is it the church or the mosque or the government? Now, this is what has happened in our nation. If a Muslim is in power, whatever he does is interpreted in that religious context. If a Christian is in power, it is interpreted in that context of Christianity. But the question is, nobody ever asked this question. This man acting, what is his character? Is he acting from his own biased mind, or is just using religion as a bait? These are some of the questions we'll also need to ask, because religion has been treated as a victim in this country and even in the world, because everything in Nigeria is reduced to religion and ethnicity. And now some of our leaders have succeeded in using religion, ethnicity, and poverty as weapons. Now we make them hungry so that they can submit. Nigerian Civil War, for example, what was the weapon used? It was not the bullet that it was hunger. Let us deny them also. Let us starve them so that they can submit. Right now, we are so hungry that we don't even have the energy to complain or to revolt.
Okay, lastly, freedom of speech versus incitement. Nigeria guarantees freedom. Nigeria guarantees the freedom of religious and freedom of expression. So why should we draw the line between freedom of expression and statement that could amount to religious incitement or threat? Peaceful coexistence. What's your take on that?
When we talk about freedom, any freedom that violates the rights of the other is criminal.
Okay.
So freedom does not mean that you should go out there to make inciting statements that will ignite violence. When you look at violence in this country, and this is what NIREC has been fighting to prevent. But right now, we have passed the era of Christians burning mosques, of Muslims burning churches. We've passed that era. The era we are now is the era of the era we are now is the era of banditry and the era of terrorism and kidnapping. And of course, you and I know the history of banditry and terrorism in our country. It was not really out of freedom of speech. First of all, you could see that, I'll call it negligence, right? And this now is affecting all of us.
Okay.
Christians are being killed, Muslims are being killed, traditional religionists are being killed, professors are being killed, generals are being killed, school children are being kidnapped. So now I think we really need to watch what we say, watch our mouth, and watch our steps.
Oh, okay. Okay, as the Executive Secretary of NIREX, what responsibility do Christians and Muslim religious leaders have when one of their own makes statements capable of creating hatred, fear, or division? Should religious leaders publicly condemn such statements, or should they undo them internally? As
now,
we round up with us questions.
Now, this question,
2 minutes, 1 second now.
This question has to do with the forms of dialogue.
Okay.
You have dialogue of action.
Okay.
You have dialogue of theological exchange. You have dialogue of social engagement. You have dialogue of religious experience. So this your particular question has to do with dialogue of social engagement. And what is dialogue of social engagement? Dialogue of social engagement is when Christians and Muslims come together to fight a common cause, to fight for justice. Now, when we talk about dialogue of social engagement, it means that the Christians and the Muslims, just like NIREC now, the Christians and the Muslims in NIREC, they should join together to condemn any statement that is capable of bridging the art of peace, any statement that can bring about violence, any statement that can bring about conflict.
Okay.
And of course, NIREC has made a lot of statements.
Yeah, please can you just in 1 second, because in 1 second, what is your final words to Nigeria moving towards another politically sensitive period? What is your message to Christians, Muslim political leaders and religious leaders, and how can we disagree politically without turning our political difference into a religious conflict? Just 1 second. Just 1 second.
1 second is that we should work together and know that life is precious, promote the dignity of human value, and Christians and Muslims should work together to know that whoever is the president or governor should not depend on religion but content of character.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the program, sir. It's good to have you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is where we draw the curtain for today. Our distinguished viewers over there watching us. I would believe one message that stands out clearly. Nigeria belongs to all Nigerians, Christians, Muslims, and people of every faith and background. Our religious and political differences should not become a reason for hatred, discrimination, violent leadership comes with responsibilities, and word from influential political and religious leaders can either build bridges or deepen division. I sincerely want to thank our guests for his time with us today, Executive Secretary of NIREC and the Secretary General of the West Africa Interreligious Council, for joining us today, Reverend Professor Afabo Cornelius. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm signing out with this. Please, you can sponsor our program. You can place your advertisement. It takes money to be on air. It takes money to be on TV. So we want to say thank you, viewers. Keep watching this program as we bring interesting and insightful conversation to you. I'm signing out. My name is Precious Anyebe. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye for now.